Hi everyone. I wanted to do a quick tutorial on how to use a foliar spray. If you haven't purchased your pump sprayer, then you can get a pump sprayer at any big box store. The one in town, the biggest one. It has pump sprayers for $10, a gallon pump sprayer. This one is a little larger than a gallon the tank is, but it actually is designed just to hold a gallon of water. I've got it filled right now with 1 gallon of rain water. When I say clean water, you probably have heard me say that before. When I say clean water, I mean either rainwater, RO water, reverse osmosis, or distilled water. When you're doing a foliar nutrition spray, it's optimal to not have a bunch of total dissolved solids in your water, and most municipal water sources do, and our wells also in most agricultural states have a lot of additional nutrients in them. Those additional nutrients are antagonists to the nutrients in the foliar spray, and so do me a favor and do yourself a favor, get maximum efficiency out of your foliar spray by using clean water. This has a little filter on the end. If you ever are pumping your pump sprayer and you find that you are getting nothing out of it, you've got good pressure in the tank, but you're not getting any flow out of the nozzle, check this little filter. So basically you're just inserting, they're all the same, whether it's, this is my favorite little pump sprayer at the moment for doing small jobs. And 1 gallon is plenty for most small spaces. You'll use a gallon of water probably for, the garden behind me is say 50 by 50. And so if that was planted intensively, it would use 1 gallon of water in order to cover the whole area with a foliar spray. So, this guy is not wanting to go on there. Maybe I have it backwards. I'll fiddle with this while I talk. So we've got our clean water in the tank, and we are getting our tank assembled, making sure that you've got good seat, get that threaded all the way down. If it's not threaded all the way down or won't thread all the way down, then you will have a pressure issue. The air will just leak out. It won't hold pressure. This particular one may have a default, or I may need to go put gloves on. Either way, we'll just go ahead and mix this just so you can see the process. So in here I've got fish hydrolysate. This is a 8-ounce jar, half of a pint. So we're now at about 4 ounces. There are 2 tablespoons in an ounce. I have a decent eye, so I'm gonna go ahead and just pour this into the tank, the quantity that I need. I need 1 tablespoon per gallon of water. I will have recommended to you that you use the fish hydrolysate every other foliar feed. So that's gonna be every, say, 14 to 20 days. So keep your fish hydrolysate in rotation. And then this is a wonderful foliar blend. It's my favorite. It is called Forage Foliar Blend, and it is a multi-nutrient foliar product. Well blended, all of the nutrients are in the right oxidative state and optimally blended for plant nutrient uptake, provided you've got a clean water source. We need 1 tablespoon of this per gallon of water. When you mix this, consider how much you are going to need to cover your area. If you're covering a 4 by 8 bed, only mix up like 1/8 of a gallon. Use 1/8 of a gallon of water and reduce your foliar nutrition down accordingly. So if you're, I don't know what that would be, but it likely is going to be somewhere in the half of a teaspoon to 3/4 teaspoon per 1/8 of a gallon of water. It's not very much. Micro amounts of this nutrient is going to, or these nutrients, is going to make an effect. What I'd love for you to keep in mind is plants love to be fed frequently, not all at once. And so think about feeding your plants weekly. So dilutely, weekly, every 7 to 10 days. Feed your plants. This foliar spray is a feed for your plants. We have 1 tablespoon of the forage foliar blend, and we have 1 tablespoon of the fish hydrolysate. Right now, we're in the beginning of the season, just about to go into June. Our plants are just starting to get stride and go into their structuring phase. They're full into their reproductive phase, those that have already been in the ground. You may notice that it is getting dark, right? And so when you're doing your foliar nutrient spray, I want you to foliar spray your plants, and that means you're spraying the leaves. Foliar, foliage, you're spraying the leaves of the plant. I want you to do that after peak sun. Wait until after 5 o'clock. If it's a blazing hot day, wait till after 7 o'clock, p.m. to do this. Plants take up nutrients at night. They photosynthesize during the day. If it's peak sun, they're concentrating on photosynthesizing, and you will waste your foliar spray if they're still photosynthesizing, because it's going to dry on the leaf and it needs to have a certain amount of liquid in order for it to have time to absorb into the leaf of the plant, and you won't have liquid again on the leaf of the plant until dew the next morning. And so you'll just have a shorter window for nutrient uptake. So foliar spray after peak sun, but still light enough so you can see what you're doing, and mix 1 gallon of clean water with 1 tablespoon of your foliar blend. Do that every 7 days. Every other feed, add in a tablespoon of the fish hydrolysate. The fish, I will have marked fish on it. And there was another important thought, and don't save it. If you don't use it all, if you end up mixing a gallon just to try and see how much you need to use for your garden, then go pour it around some of your perennials in the yard. Don't save it. It's not like that. You need to actually get rid of it after you mix it up, because it is now, in essence, kind of microbial food and not ideal for the next spraying. You will be spraying something that is not the same as what it is when it's freshly mixed. Keep all of this material, any of your foliar feeds, any of your foliar nutrition, liquid nutrition, keep that in a cool spot, out of direct sunlight, not in the blazing heat. You want to preserve the integrity. You don't want to denature the integrity of those products. You want to preserve the quality of the product. So you don't have to keep it in the fridge, but don't keep it in your shed where it's going to get to 120, and don't keep it in your greenhouse where it's going to go up to 120. Spraying the leaf surface of a plant underneath, ideal, right? So that's where the stomata are. That's where a lot of the nutrients are taken up, but you can spray the top and the bottom of the leaf. You can just spray the top of the leaf. It's fine. There are microbes doing good work getting those nutrients into your plant. So don't worry about trying to get the underneath of the leaf. If you can, awesome. I'm mixing this up to take to the farm, so I'm going to add a little add-in soluble kelp. And that's only because I have fruit trees and berry plants that are already fruiting. They are already swelling their little fruitlets. And that is a potassium-mediated function. I don't want you to use soluble kelp until you actually have little fruitlets on your tomato plants. Until you have little tomatoes the size of peas, or you have little cucumbers, just a 1/4 inch long, or beans a 1/4 inch long. Wait to use a soluble kelp until that moment. This is going to be your potassium source. A dry soluble kelp is extracted with a potassium hydroxide, so it ends up being about 15% potassium. But wait until it's fruit expansion time, until it's cell expansion time. Don't apply it too early. It'll actually give you weak fruit if you do that. It will inhibit the calcium uptake of your plant. They both are positively charged and can antagonize each other. But applying foliar nutrition to the leaf surface of your plant is about 12 to 19 times more effective than applying it to the soil. If you apply it to the soil, which you totally can, you can put it in a watering can, same dilution rate, and water it into your soil around your plants. It won't go as far. You'll have to be conscious of that and spread it out so that you can get good coverage. But if you spray it onto the leaf surface, it's going to be about 12 to 19 times more effective. It doesn't have to go through a microbe, through the soil, up through the roots, and then to the leaf. It's directly where it needs to be. So that's a little tutorial on how to prep your foliar feed. I'm gonna just give you a demo on spraying it. And I know this one has good pressure. So I'm gonna mix it up, give it a nice little shake. And then pump it. That's why it's called a pump sprayer. Pump it up. I usually lock it. All of them that I know of have a little locking handle. If you hear bubbles coming out, that means you've got air escaping, so maybe tighten it down a little more. But I lock my handle so I can pick it up and take it with me, and I can move fast. I usually just spray just a little bit to get the actual solution that I'm wanting to spray out the nozzle. And then, because this has potassium in it, I'm gonna focus on these strawberry plants that already have little fruitlets. And in fact, I already gave them a little foliar feed a little earlier. Again, I'm gonna zoop all this over and spray my fruit trees right now. That is the foliar feed tutorial. I'll make another tutorial on the other items a little later. Okay, thanks.